Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about this highly raved after project called One Marina Gardens. In short, we call it OMG. By now, you should be very familiar with this OMG development because it's really the talk of the town. The show flat during day one was extremely full. When I went there, I was shocked. I had to queue up so far away and wait with my client just to get into the show flat. And when I saw the crowd, I was quite shocked because, to be frank, I am definitely not a fan of CCR project. Okay, the reason why is because I have personally seen my clients actually having a hard time offloading their property in the CCR area. Let's not name those projects. When they buy, they didn't think about it because they felt that it was luxurious, it was good, it's a no-brainer, it's central, it's the best place in town, why not? So when they bought it and they want to sell it, I seen them a hard time selling. And quite frankly, I'm actually quite affected by it because my role is to help my client to make money. I felt that I should. But if today my client asked me, Kelly, do you think CCR project really can buy or not? Like really can invest, meh? You see, I buy already so long, I want to sell, I cannot sell. Until I have to keep renting and now I cannot offload my property. I want to buy another launch, I want to flip, also cannot because it's just like that. I just can't sell. Then also, I have another school of thought. Some of clients telling me, hey, Kelly, you know, at the end of the day, all Singaporeans also want to move towards CCR, right? It's the most prestigious area that anyone could have asked for. So why not good? Because I don't even mind staying. Like last week when I bring my client to OMG, at first he was just purely coming in to buy as investment. But now he tell me he's looking for own stay probably because he likes this location. He can sell off his car. He don't need to drive anymore because his office is just nearby and it's so good, you know. So I do not agree that, you know, CCR project cannot buy, but I do feel that it is very important for you to know when is it considered safe, when is it considered risky. Later on in the upcoming sharing, I will be sharing with you on how do we actually look at OMG. What are the actually safe prices you can feel confident buying into? And what are the prices you should avoid if you are in the queue and you are not sure whether is it still safe to go in and what are the pros and cons? So nonetheless, in my opinion, I would say that for those CCR projects that my clients had a hard time selling, I observed that when they enter during that time, they have kind of disregarded the entry price, whether it's safe or not. Because at that time when they bought, they have not checked the price gap with other developments. They do not know the upcoming transformation in that area. They just bought purely because of impulsive, purely because they thought CCR project is what everybody wants to buy, and they kind of don't balance it out with logical stuff like price gap, future exit strategy, as well as whether are they able to cushion when the market will not give them tenants, can they still pay the mortgage? So things like that. So for those of you, sometimes you may have seen some of the transactions that showed deficits in many CCR projects. Sometimes it's also because the monthly mortgage can be too high for some of the owners to pay. That's why they end up having to sell up as soon as they can. Other reasons could be the owner may have realized that if I hold on to this long enough, I still will not see the amount of gain that I'm expecting. So I might as well just sell it cheap because I've been collecting good rental and offload this one and go to the next one that can give me faster gains in terms of capital. Okay, so for CCR, if today you are going in at a very safe price, as what I'm going to share you later, and there's also good rental that you're expecting to take, then it's okay to buy. Just be mindful. You must be ready to exit at a not too big of a capital gain amount because that's just generally how the dynamics in CCR project can be. So without further ado, everything that I'm sharing in this video will be purely based on my analysis and my interpretation. My objective of this video is to share with all of you about what I personally think about OMG and what are the analysis that could help you in your property decision. And if there's anything in my sharing that you are not clear, feel free to comment. Send me, I will answer them as promptly as I can. Marina South, as we all know by now, this is the very first new condo in this new area. this Marina South area. You know, last time when I'm hanging around there, it used to be a place that is a whole stretch of steamboat. Very, very long ago, where there's nothing, and when I was young, so you guys should be able to guess my age. So that time when I was young, that place was just purely for leisure, for us teenagers to eat steamboat, around there. So when this new place developed into Marina South, I'm actually quite excited to see the transformation because, you know, then and now is such drastic, and now our government is definitely doing a good job with this transformation. So one Marina Garden is in this place that is so convenient. It is near to Singapore Flyer, MBS, Esplanade and stuff. So that's why my client who went to view this place self-convinced that maybe I should buy this place for own stay because I'm in the heart of the town. Then also Marina South is going through this big transformation that is going to integrate live, love and life all here, because you're going to have lifestyle, you're going to have convenience, you're going to have eateries, you're going to have shopping, everything within this new area here. And best part is, for those of you who like nature, Gardens by the Bay is just right beside you. I'm someone who loves nature, and if you love nature, OMG could be a good consideration for you for own stay. And if you're buying for investment, next to the Gardens by the Bay can attract tenant pools that are working around here in the finance sector or in the IT sector or even in the business sector. They should be all around here. And then with this as the first plot, there's also other future plot or future developments here, which is the reason why it makes it so exciting, because the previous nearest or closest comparison will be Lentor. So for Lentor area, which is also a new township, what happened over there was when Lentor Modern was launched at first, truth is I was quite skeptical because I felt that this Lentor Modern is a new township. Who will want to buy this place? It's so ulu. It's just nothing. You cannot eat. There's only one MRT, and this Lentor Modern is just a mere medium-sized mall that is just like a neighborhood mall. So I really think very little of Lentor Modern, and that time when they were launching, because it's Guaco land, they priced it at about 1,007, 1,008 per square feet. And during that era, 1,008 plus minus per square feet to about 1,950, the last I remember, was very high. So I really asked myself, will these people who buy Lentor be able to exit because it's so rural? Then little do I realize that actually the future plot of lands that keep coming out after one another has actually helped Lentor Modern to now have a 400 per square feet of gain already because of this early mover advantage. So technically for OMG, you may also experience this similar trend, because in OMG itself, there's actually future plots that are already zoned as a mixed development and also residentials around, increasing more residentials around. And each plot of land by now, we already know it should be higher than the previous, with the rising cost of construction and the harmonization ruling where the developer has lesser saleable areas and stuff like that. We will only see the prices keep going up. So maybe OMG may go through the same as how Lentor has gone through. So for those of you who are watching this, you are considering whether OMG is the project for you or not. My suggestion, go back to look at the past trends of Lentor, look at how they have actually transformed over these course of 2 years to 2.5 years, how much gain from the very early buyers of Lentor Modern make from their per square feet jump until the recent. You can safely see a 1,850 per square feet all the way to now, which is selling at 2,005 per square feet. So 2,005 per square feet versus 1,850 is about more than 400 per square feet gain. And one has no shopping mall while the other one has Lentor Mansion versus Lentor Modern. So when I look at it, I would say that if today you are thinking about OMG, do take reference to that and ask yourself if you feel confident OMG can also bring you that kind of results, because we are talking about a price that is irresistible to many. I'm not too sure to you or not, but I would say yes, I agree, the price is irresistible. So what makes Marina South good? Now we know that it's a 10 minutes neighborhood for residentials and visitors. You will have communal space, you will have greenery, you have malls and stuff which I mentioned. So let's look at the site plan and unit mix of this development before we dive into the analysis portion. For site plan with One Marina Garden, it's actually very functional and efficiently designed. Why? Because if you realize both sides, they have their own openness towards their view. So here, you have this view, and here you also have this view. And also, this One Marina Garden is not a small development. So in One Marina area, especially in CCR, it's very hard for you to find a mega development of this size because the total number of units you are seeing is 937 residential units with 4 commercial lots and 1 childcare center. So childcare center is great. We are not too sure what childcare center will be there, but we are quite sure that it will be quite a good one. And for the 937 residential unit over there, what we are going to see is 445 car park lots because this is a car-like area. Our government is trying to encourage lesser cars around to be more green to the environment. And the expected TOP date is somewhere around 2027 to probably about 2028, that range. So what kind of unit mix are we looking at? For OMG, there's a range of 1-bedder all the way to 4-bedder premium. For 1-bedder, there's a total of 240 units, and for 2-bedder, there's 170 plus. For 2-bedder with home shelter is 198 and so on. Now, the least number of units available is 4-bedroom premium because I'm very sure developers will be very mindful of building bigger units there because big families can be excited to stay there. Likely those who are looking for the larger 4-bedder could be PRs who have just gotten their citizenship or foreigners who are ready to pay the 60% to purchase a larger unit in the heart of town. So the weightage in terms of percentage for 1-bedder is 25%, for 2-bedder is 44%, for 3-bedder is 25%, and for the 4-bedder is 4%. Essentially, what I personally am excited about is the 3-bedroom dual key, personally. Because the 3-bedroom dual key is a very rare concept in this area, and actually the layout is quite efficient also. Good for those who want to stay here and yet also want to collect rental yield. So you can stay there and you can also rent out the other side. And in this area, I think it's very subjective. Those who want to stay here, they also want to have some rental yield, and 3-bedroom dual key with scarcity in the layout, with a very scarce supply, may have some exciting resale value when you put up in the market because you can't see it a lot in Property Guru. Totally for 3-bedder dual key, there's only 29 units. So you won't see so many supply when you put up for sale in future. In fact, I am not surprised if there will be specific buyer who start asking me after 2028, hey Kelly, I see 3-bedroom dual key in OMG, can buy or not? Looks exciting, so convenient, I can stay, I can rent. So if you ever have a queue number that is so good and you want to have this benefit, go for a 3-bedroom dual key, but be mindful of the price. Later I'll share with you what is safe to buy. So before to decide what is a price that's safe to buy, let's understand a bit more on what is this developer's pricing strategy about. In all my other videos for all the rest of my analysis for project, we always want to understand what are the possible pricing strategies so that we are able to kind of gauge how much you should buy in and how much you should not. Or even if you want to, you know the pros and cons. So Kingsford is a quite popular developer because it is a developer that has done quite a fair number of projects, especially lately. You hear about Chuan Park selling extremely well. You must have visited Normanton Park because it is the mega project in that area. And when it was launched, we call this a majestic project. I've seen this project myself. I'm in love. I like the facility. I like the layout. I like the way the buildings are being oriented because they really leave a lot of space for airflow and natural lighting to come in. And also, we know the Kingsford Water Bay, which is near to the Upper Serangoon side. And also, there are Kingsford Hillview Park. And also, the Hill at One North, which is very near to the recent development known as the Bloomsbury. So these are Kingsford's past projects that we commonly know about. So how do they actually do pricing strategy? Very briefly, I have identified 3 types of developer pricing strategy that you may find helpful for you. First is no floor jump. That means every floor jump is a standard amount all the way. Secondly, they will pack the premium on good views. Good views like Normanton Park, later we will see a case study on it or some numbers. And then also, for Chuan Park, they actually adopt this strategy called the third floor jump. So, for good views, how does Kingsford do? If I zoom into Normanton Park, right, what we will be using will be this stack 53, and also this stack 16 and 17. So let's look at how they do their pricing for the 1 beta premium facing. So let's look at 16. This is the facing. Okay, for Normanton Park, I have identified, interestingly, from 12 to 15 floor, right, the per floor jump is quite predictable. Meaning, you can have a 23,000 per floor jump for one level, and then minus 23,000 per floor jump for the next level, and then increase by 25,000 for the next level, and until 16th floor to 17th floor, which is the premium jump, you realize that there is a 43,000 of per floor jump over there because they actually minus here and then pack it over here. So if you already have a queue number and you are queuing for OMG, do make sure you ask your agent to tabulate this exact Excel sheet out and highlight exactly which are the areas that have the minus so that you can enter in with the minus and not go in with the premium price, because this will cause you undesirable outcome when you sell next time. Okay? And then for 20th to 21st floor, I also noticed that for Normanton Park, they minus a 26,000 here and then they pack a 34,000 here, this being the second highest jump. So that is for the stack 16. Remember, if you are looking for a project in OMG and you are in the queue, check out for their premium jump for their good facing ones. So you may want to mark out the good facing ones and check the whole price list to see where are the premium jump and how much is the jump, because there will be one that has the highest weightage and the other one with a slightly lesser, and generally for the rest will be around quite the same. Okay? And if you can, developer has a reduction in the price. For instance, level 13 is priced at 941,000. And then level 14 is priced at 917,000. So this is where your opportunity is. And for these deals, you should put yourself in a very good positioning when you buy it, as compared to your neighbors. Now, next one will be the next 1 beta premium facing, which is over here. The one that has the furthest facing to the other block. For this one will be stack 53. If you look at stack 53, you can realize that from level 11 to level 12, there is a per floor jump of from 19,000 jump to 46,000 increment. Then the next one will be level 14 to level 15. From 18,000, there's a negative 54. So all along, I'm trying to ask you to spot the one that has the largest per floor jump and avoid that. But you can also spot for the largest negative one, so that you can buy or spot that one and go in for that. That is Kingsford Normanton Park's pricing strategy for good facing. And then from level 15 to level 16 is a minus 54, and the next jump become plus 41. So pick your level carefully. And then from level 18 to 19, you realize that they only increased 1,000 from level 17 to 18. But level 19 became a 59,000 increase. So the price increment can be quite chaotic. Then you have to draw it out one level by one level and tabulate it. If you can, take picture, put it in ChatGPT, ask them to generate for you. If they can do this for you, that will save you some time. Okay? So look out for these good deals and avoid the ones that has premium jump. That is one way of Kingsford pricing strategy. Second, there's third floor jump. Why third floor jump? For Chuan Park, especially for the 2-bed plus study, in stack 1, stack 6, and stack 19, if I track back to the record, you can realize that for level 3 to level 4 for Chuan Park, there is a 106,000 jump, which means the buyer who bought level 3 or level 5 actually will see themselves entering at a very attractive price as compared to level 4, because level 4 is 106,000. So this one high risk. Level 3 to level 4 for stack 6, there is also a 1,000 jump from the previous level, and then the next one from level 3 to 4 is a 37,000. So this 37,000 is also quite significant, which you also have to kind of flag it out and avoid that as well. This is a 3rd to 4th jump. And then for stack 19, level 3 to level 4 also, you can see that this is a standard 4,006 and 4,004. So why do I want to show you this? Because in a balloting process when everyone is in a FOMO state and everyone is trying to, oh, what's the next in line? Which one should I get? Which is the next number and all this. Most of the agent out there, they will be just telling you for this stack, this is a cheaper stack. You buy from level 2 onwards to level 5. If this is sold, we go to the next cheaper stack and buy level 2 to level 5. Just repeat until you find the next cheaper stack. So today we are not going to talk about choosing only the cheapest stack, but going into every stack's price increment to decide the stacks which level to buy. So it need not be level 2 to level 5 or level 6. It can be even higher floor if the per floor jump is very little. Got it? So let's apply this understanding to our one bedroom analysis. For one bedroom, these are the few for 431 square feet. You have these two stacks that is spacing here, and also for here and here. So I'm going to go quite quickly for the layout because today's objective is not to compare the layout, but rather to look at your rental prediction. Okay, why? Because for those of you who are thinking of buying one marina, I don't think you're considering to buy it because you want to flip within 3 years. I would suggest you to look at it as a longer-term investment where you get to enjoy rental yield, and that is probably the portfolio that you are looking for. If that is the portfolio that is aligned with your investment plan as of now, then OMG will be a great project for you. But if you are thinking of, I want to buy and then 3 years later I want to flip, then there might be a certain level of risk when you buy OMG because nobody really knows whether it's easy for you to flip a location there or not. So this part is unknown, so you have to take up the risk. So one bedroom rental prediction, let's look at how much we can rent out for OMG by referring to Tanjong Pagar's one bedroom rental. So as we do not have enough transactions to support for OMG site as a new plot, we're taking Tanjong Pagar one bedroom rental as a reference. So Tanjong Pagar, we know the Tanjong Pagar MRT is here, and we're going to take a look at Icon as well as the surrounding projects, which is not shown here. On the chart itself, you can see Tanjong Pagar one bedroom rental, there's 3 developments that we have selected. Icon is the one that I actually circled for you just now, with Altes and Sky Suites at the further down that side. So Icon, Altes and Sky Suites are all within 1 kilometer to Tanjong Pagar MRT. And on the chart itself, you realize actually they are all one bedroom. How come I see a difference in their rental per square feet? So we want to dive deeper to understand why this rental PSF can vary. Because today we want to predict how much we can rent for OMG. We want to make sure that our prediction is as accurate as possible, and that's why we must find the reason and the trend that causes the discrepancy in the rental amount because they're all one bedroom anyway. So for the ones that is leading in terms of the rental PSF, we can tell that it's Sky Suites at Anson, and the ones that is Icon at Altes, you can realize that they are quite close to each other. So why is that so? For Icon rental, you can see these are all the rental that is happening in January. So you can see that in January itself, there's a mixture of rental for 5 to 600 square feet, 6 to 700 square feet, and 7 to 800 square feet. And in summary, 5 to 600 square feet will enjoy a rental of $7.45 per square feet averaging. And 6 to 700 square feet will enjoy $7 per square feet averaging, while 7 to 800 square feet will enjoy $6.80 per square feet. From here, you can kind of notice that the smaller unit seems to have higher per square feet as compared to the larger unit, because the larger unit seems to have lower PSF. But why? So later I'll show you why is this happening. Now the second example I will show you is Altes. For Altes itself, similarly, we are taking January rental transactions, and we notice also that 5 to 600 square feet enjoy $8 per square feet rental, with 6 to 700 square feet units enjoying $7.65 per square feet, which is similar like Icon. And also 7 to 800 square feet is $6.07 PSF. And for Altes, there's also 800 to 900 square feet unit enjoying $6.50 per square feet. So from this second example, you can also realize a similar pattern of bigger unit have higher rent, smaller unit have lower rent. Why is that so? Because think about this. If today you are renting out a one-bedder, and to tenants all they want is an acceptable rental amount. And tenants are looking out for, is this a one-bedder or is this a two-bedder? If it's a one-bedder, it is a one-bedder. It's not about, if it's a one-bedder and a more spacious one-bedder, I'm willing to pay a high premium for this spacious one-bedder. Because if I take the actual amount to multiply by the size, the actual rental amount that the tenant has to pay every month can be too much if it's priced the same as a smaller unit. That's the reason why for tenants, they usually look at, can I accept the rental amount that I need to commit to every month? If the rental amount is too much for me, then at the end of the day, I cannot take it, even though the size is big. So that is one of the key reasons at the end of the day, the larger the unit, they cannot rent out the same size as the smaller unit because the quantum will end up being too big. So lastly, let's look at Sky Suites at Anson. For Sky Suite at Anson, I actually highlighted the yellow ones for you. The reason is because, interestingly, for 300 to 400 square feet one bedder, it is going at $9.54 per square feet if I average out. So how do I do my averaging is I will take the lowest to the highest per square feet for that month, and then I will divide by the number of transactions to give it an average ratio. So you can also do your numbers on your own when you check out the URA website and do your averaging. Or you can just refer to this video to give yourself a gauge. So for Sky Suites, we notice 300 to 400 square feet is going at $9.54 per square feet. Which means to say, for the smaller units, they're actually enjoying higher rental amount because the per square feet is actually higher. So in summary, comparing Icon, Altez and Sky Suites, you can notice the smaller the unit, the higher the PSF. Taking this into reference to One Marina Garden, I'm sure those who have viewed One Marina would know that newer project will not give you 600 to 800 square feet one bedder anymore. Now it's just too expensive for construction. Our developers will try to build as many units as they can in order to make sense of the numbers and that they are going into. So with a 300 to 400 square feet unit, you can look at $9.54 per square feet for Sky Suite at Anson. Or 500 to 600 square feet, you'll be looking at $7.45 per square feet. Or $8 per square feet depending on the age because Sky Suite is the youngest. So the smaller the unit, the higher the PSF. Just remember this. So what is a safe entry for one bedder? Now, as you understand this concept, let's look at the possible price that others are buying in and what kind of rental yield are they going in with the same concept. The smaller the unit, the higher the per square feet. Let's take reference to the sale at Marina Bay, where you notice for the sale at Marina Bay, for the one bedder, their size is about 614 square feet all the way to 657 square feet. With that, if you take the lowest to highest and you average out the average purchase price, you will derive at 1.269 million. With 1.269 million, let's take a look at the average rental price in that area as well. So similarly, for the whole of January, for a 600 to 700 square feet one bedder over there, they're actually going at between 4,004 all the way to 5,006. If I do an average rental price of the total 24 transactions in the system that I see, the average rental price is 4,007. So if I do an averaging for the rental price versus the purchase price, if you want to know the formula, take the rental price, multiply by 12, then divide by the average purchase price, multiply it by the percentage, and you will derive at the rental yield amount. So if you are the show flat and you're thinking about this amount can buy or not, how much is my rental yield, then plug in this formula and see if you're happy with the rental yield percentage. So for the sale at Marina Bay, even though we know the layout is really not efficient, and if you look at the transaction for selling, it's also not fantastic. There are also unprofitable transactions. But those people who are able to sell without profits, they have already enjoyed this amount of rental yield for the past years. That's the reason why they could afford to sell their unit lower price and offload it because they have already enjoyed the rental coming in. Same thing for Marina One Residences. For Marina One Residences transaction, as we take the averaging, you may realize that their average purchase price is going at 1.564 million. And for Marina One, the thing is that we notice that their one bedder is going at 700 to 800 square feet. So 700 to 800 square feet is a larger unit. And of course, the rental may not be very high because the per square feet will be lower, right? So the average rental price for Marina One residents averaged out to be 4,682. Similarly, when I plunk in the numbers and I average it out, the rental yield now became 3.5%. So what does this mean? It means that a smaller unit can actually enjoy a higher rental yield, while a larger unit may not enjoy higher rental yield because of the per square feet. So today, One Marina Garden, we know that they are actually going at 420 to 452 square feet. If I actually further add in all the rest of the transaction as a summary, you can also realize that Marina One Residences and Marina Bay, being the larger unit type, has been enjoying $8 per square feet. Whereas if I move down towards the sale, you can see that 600 to 700 square feet, which is slightly smaller, is going at $8.46. And if I go down even more, you can notice Altez, which is an even smaller size, is going at $8. Finally, the big jump for Sky Suites itself, 300 to 400 square feet, still one bedder, is going at $9.54, being the youngest over there as well. So we actually did a forecast that on a conservative note, for One Marina Garden, OMG, we wouldn't be surprised if it's going at $10 to $11 per square feet. And quite frankly, I don't think we can go up to $12 per square feet over there because there's no transaction that is at $12 per square feet. So today we are going to do our sharing or our analysis based on $9, $10 or $11 only. And I'm going to skip away $12 per square feet because I think this is a number that's harder to achieve. So I don't want to confuse you with the numbers. Let's focus on 10 to 11 per square feet as a gauge. So in summary, the smaller the size, the higher the PSF, they'll allow us to derive at OMG 10 to 11 per square feet rental amount. Although you can see the advertisement is very nice, they put super attractive price. One bedder starting from 1.16 million. I have a lot of clients asking me about this. Oh, it's so cheap, it's so nice to buy a CCR in this price. And two bedder for 646 square feet is also going at 1.8 million and seems like very good. And most of the two bedder out there, even like for Trump Park and all this, already crossed 2 million. Three bedder is going at about 2.4 million with four bedder going at 4.45. Question: no matter how nice the advertisement may say, the question we must ask ourselves is it still safe to enter? And if it is safe, at which point will it become unsafe? So let's look at one bedder breakdown because I cannot do an estimation for you. If today you still want to enjoy a 4.2% of rental yield, which is the whole idea, as I mentioned earlier, why we will go into One Marina Garden. Then you need to know at which point will you choose to change your unit to another unit type. So for those of you who are thinking, I want to buy One Marina Garden one bedder, I don't mind to rent out, I don't mind to enjoy the good rental yield, but is it really good rental yield or not? So earlier I also mentioned to you with the $10 per square feet, let's do an analysis to see at which point will it not give you 4% rental yield. So with this table, it should be quite helpful for you as you're at the show flat selecting which unit is good for you, which facing, which price. Because over here, I actually break down based on 431 square feet unit with a $10 per square feet rental deriving at $4,003 every month. And by now, we already know that all developers will always choose one or two units that starts from this 1.16 million. So 1.16 million likely will be that one or two unit. And what happens if you are so lucky to choose the 1.16 million unit, which means you will be actually assured with a 4.44% of rental yield for $4,310 every month rental amount. This is based on $10 per square feet. So for those of you who never get to select that 1.16 million, fret not because likely you'll be entering at 2,008 per square feet. And from 2008 onwards all the way to 2,950 per square feet and so on, I can notice that all of this actually get to enjoy 4% rental yield. Which means to say, conservatively, if you are renting out $10 per square feet with $4,003 a month, anything that you are buying for 431 square feet at 1.2 million and lower, you will enjoy 4.2% of rental yield. Ideally, If you see that the per square feet has gone up to 2,009 per square feet and your entry price is still at 1.189, then grab it because you will enjoy 4.35%. And if not, even if you buy at 3,000 per square feet and you purchase it at 1.293, which is very close to 1.3, you will still have 4% rental yield. But in my opinion, I would suggest you to consider something at a 1.25 range because that will allow you to have some buffer in case rental kind of drop from 4.2 drop to 4 ma. So it's still good. But if you enter a property with exactly 4% rental yield, it means that if market corrects itself or have some changes, you may end up having rental yield of only 3.8%. So that may not be good because if you want to sell your unit to future investor, they will do their numbers to make sense of it and then they will realize, how come your unit only can give me 3.8%? That means it's not good. But if you buy a unit with 4.2% rental yield and in softer market, it still gets 4% rental yield and you still get to sell to investor because 4% is the golden number that all investors for properties would like to know. And it's very hard to find 4% rental yield when you sell in the resale market. So you will be one of the lucky development that can get to do this. So let's say, for example, you get to rent it out at $11 per square feet for a 431 square feet unit. The good news is you can actually afford to buy all the way until 1.336 million in order to enjoy a 4.2% rental yield for $11 per square feet. Nonetheless, we really don't know whether your rental is going to be $10 or $11 PSF. But with the recent transactions and the trends, it's very safe that $10 per square feet is a safety benchmark and 11 could be like a booming market, a good market. So if you're thinking, oh, maybe I want to sell my property or maybe I want to flip to another one and you happen to have $11 per square feet when you're thinking about selling, then seize the opportunity because this will allow the investor to run their numbers and realize this property can allow them to have $11 per square feet rental resulting in 4.26% rental yield. And then that will be very good because your unit will look exciting and then you have already forecast this step when you make your purchase. So let's say you buy at 1.25 million and market become good. You can rent out at $11 per square feet. Then it's also just nice that you finish your SSD 3 years already. I think that's a great opportunity for you to offload because you can use the $11 per square feet as one of the key factors when you sell this property and aim to sell it at 1.336 million. That will be the best sweet spot that you can expect from your investment. So how about two-bedroom analysis? For two-bedroom analysis, we are also going to repeat the same thing. I'm going to quickly run through with you. You have size from 646 square feet all the way to 667, 657, and also two-bed plus study. You also have 678 square feet, as well as two-bed plus study plus home shelter. You have 721 and 732 square feet. So the key thing is not about the layout. The key thing is not about which stack, which spacing already. Because why? You will look at the premium stacks. You will avoid the high premium pricing. You have now learned how to choose the exact floor level that is aligned with the opportunities that you can get when you look at the entire price matrix during the balloting day. Let's say, for example, you are going in OMG after the balloting day. I think it's also important to look at what is left and do your numbers and reference back to what I share with you to assess whether $10 or $11 per square feet, what can you enter with and what can you exit with? Is the gain enough? Is the rental amount you get enough versus your entire cost of holding? What is your net gain? So do your numbers carefully if you're buying as a post-launch so that you will still get to choose good units and you know what you're getting yourself into. For two-bedroom rental prediction is also using the nearby development, which is Sky Suites, Altez, and Icon. So from here you can notice Icon itself actually has one of the rental that seems to be a little bit more volatile or rather on the lower side. It is only in the later years that actually starts catching up. Whereas for Sky Suite and Altez, they are also starting on a higher per square feet for their rental amount. And why is that so? Because today we want to look at the difference in terms of their average per square feet. For Icon itself, you may notice that for their two-bedder, being on the lower transaction PSF, their actual size is about 900 to 1,000 or 1,001 to 1,002 square feet. So I would say for two-bedder in this area is extremely big and luxurious. It's just that the development might be a bit on the older side. So with that, we are going to take the 900 to 1,000 square feet as comparison, and their average per square feet transaction for the two-bedder is going at $5.79 PSF. For Altez alone, for two-bedder, they have sizes from 1,001 to 1,002. You can also notice that their PSF has gone up from $6.43 to $7.30, which an average PSF of $6.68. Finally, for Sky Suites at Anson, which is the smallest unit type, is going at 6 to 700 square feet, averaging about $8.09. In fact, I even see this transaction at $10.46 per square feet. So this is a very big jump from the usual $5 to $6 and jump all the way to $8 for a significantly smaller unit. So again, it goes back to the key thing that tenants don't really fancy if the space is very big and I need to pay a premium. They probably take better liking or preference towards the monthly rental amount and also the number of bedrooms available and what they will be actually using. So that's why Sky Suite at Anson is going at about $8 to even up to $10. In summary, the same concept about the smaller the unit, the higher the PSF, can significantly be seen from here, from Icon and Altez, which is similar in their sizes, ranging from $5 to $6. Jump all the way to Sky Suites at 6 to 700 square feet is going at $8. I also wouldn't be surprised if one Marina Garden with a 646 to 721 square feet and newer project in a new township can actually go up to still around $10 per square feet. So when we do our numbers later, it will be based on $10 per square feet as well to determine actually what is a safe entry for two-bedder. So for the two-bedder, let's take reference to the sale at Marina Bay. Their average purchase price based on the transactions has shown to be about $1.825 million, as compared to their average rental price is going at about $6,000 when we take comparison to all the total 7 transactions and average it out. We also notice that the sizes is about 8 to 900 square feet, which will result to a rental yield of 4%. That is the exact reason why the sale at Marina Bay, some of them are selling at a loss because they can afford to. Next, we take a look at Marina One Residence. Similar pattern as well. You can notice that their larger unit at 1,001 to 1,002 square feet has actually an average rental yield of 3.75%. So what does this mean? It means that for those of you who are thinking of buying a two-bedder, it is equally important to ensure that the size you're getting into is not too big because it will affect your rental yield. So just nice for one Marina Garden is about 624 to 721 square feet for their 2-bed, 2-bath, all the way to 2-bed plus home shelter. So with this, we are quite confident to say that 1 and 2-bedder will still get to enjoy good rental yield. So assuming, let's say 2-bedder, maybe their rental may not be $10 per square feet. It could be conservatively $8 per square feet. So to enjoy 4%, it means that for a typical 646 square feet 2-bedder, if you still want to enjoy 4% rental yield, the sweet spot to enter into for a $9 per square feet is at about $1.744 million. But we know that this is not going to be able to do so because as per the advertisement, it says it will start from 1.8 plus million. So likely, you will need to also expect yourself to enter close to 1.9 million, which if you look at this breakdown, you also realize that to enjoy a 4% for a 646 square feet, it's actually safer to buy at 1.744. Or if you are going in at $10 per square feet, it's safer to buy at 1.938. So therefore, for those of you who are thinking, I need to buy a 1.9 something all the way to probably higher, maybe about 2 million. So be mindful that as much as we felt that two-bedder could be still enjoying a very strong rental demand, the amount of rental versus your purchase price might pose a little bit of risk factor to enjoy 4% rental yield all the way. Because if you're two-bedder, you're going in about 2 million or higher range of 1.9 million, you may end up seeing yourself only enjoying 3.9% rental yield or 3.87% rental yield. So the key thing is that if today you're buying a two-bedder plus study, you may also want to set a benchmark, like let's say something around 2.1 million or maybe less than that. Because 2-bed plus study, your size is bigger, your rental will also be a little, bigger size. And in this context also, I would suggest maybe you may want to consider looking for the PSF for the mid to larger 2-bedder, because if the per square feet for the mid to larger 2-bedder is lower than your 646 square feet size, and then do your sums based on $10 per square feet to see whether do you still get 3.8 to 4% rental yield or not. Okay, if the answer is yes, then these are the units that you can mark out. But if you don't see these numbers, then it seems like it's always on the 3.5 to 3.6% rental yield, then you have to be mindful that these are the risks that you may want to consider taking out or not, and lean back towards 1-bedder. So at the balloting day, do your numbers carefully. If you want a soft copy of this table, I can also send it to you. Leave me a comment and I'll drop you a WhatsApp to send you this Excel sheet so that you can tabulate as it's auto-formulated. Okay? Let's go over to 3-bedroom analysis. 3-bedroom analysis, I'm going to quickly run through. You have actually a 1012 square feet, 904 and 980. Now, I'm not going to really touch too much on the layout comparison because today we're not going to look at layout. The important thing is your rental yield. But nonetheless, I also want to highlight to you that your 904 square feet might be a good unit for consideration because the quantum is actually smaller and it's also still 3-bedder that you can rent out as a 3-bedder. So yes, the facing might be blocked in future, but because of the quantum, it's actually quite good to consider for 904 square feet. But if you're someone who's thinking of own stay, I think the best facing the inside pool facing, which is the 1012 square feet. And again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm quite excited about 3-bedroom dual key because it's also good facing and you can enjoy the furthest view without blockage. So 3-bedder premium, there's 3 different stacks. And for these 3 different stacks, we felt that 3BRP3 might be the best layout and also the best value. But we're not going to do layout comparison, so let's jump straight to the top choice for 3-bedder. If you're buying a 3-bedder for investment, I actually did a breakdown for 3-bedroom dual key. 3-bedroom dual key, the size is 969 square feet. And to ensure that you enjoy your 3-bedroom dual key with a safe purchase price and also collecting rental yield at the same time, 1 bedroom is actually at one side, and then your 2-bedroom is actually at the other side. So if I combine both of the rental together at one being $9 per square feet for 2-bedroom and another being $10 per square feet, the total amount of rental you'll be expecting to take back is 9121, assuming you're not staying inside. And let's say you're collecting 9121 per month from this 3-bedroom dual key, and you get to enter at 2.66 million, then you are very, very good because you enjoy 4.1% of rental yield. And if you really have to stretch out and buy at probably a price that you can still buy and sell and still get to rent out with good rental, we felt that 2.78 is actually the sweet maximum spot you can go into, because if you see it's around 3.96% thereabout. So for 3-bedroom dual key, sometimes the PSF, you can also expect to ask for slightly higher. But conservatively, if it's a 9121 rental every month, we felt that to enjoy closer to 4% rental yield, buying in at 2.78 and below will be a safe entry. So when you want to sell in future, you can still afford to price it lower than 3 million and still get to enjoy the rental along these years. So the second choice for our 3-bedder will be the type BR3, which is the 904 square feet. In summary, we felt that for 904 square feet, a safe amount to enter into will be 2.45 million if you are intending to rent out for $9 per square feet, or the market expects you to rent out at $9 per square feet. So this will be the breakdown that we have observed. Also for rental price, let's say if you are thinking, or maybe I can do it at $10 per square feet, the sweet spot to enter will be 2.7, or the amount that you'll be able to sell it for when you are collecting your keys. Let's say the rental at that time is $10 per square feet. So safe price to enter is 2.7 below for current 4% rental yield, or in future safe price for you to sell as well. 4-bedroom analysis, 4-bedroom premium, 1647 square feet. There's only 40 units of such, so we are going to skip that. And in summary for OMG, what I want to share with you is that if you're thinking about this development, prioritize yourself based on rental yield and not so much on capital gain. Not that you will not have any, just that it will be slower. And also, how can you ensure you are detailed about developer pricing strategy so you know which floor level, which layout, which step, which spacing you should enter into, not just buying from the lowest to highest floor, but be very clear about which floor, which unit, why is that so. Then that will put you at a very safe entry price. And learn how to shortlist these units. Sometimes by you having this awareness and sensitivity to the developer pricing strategy will put you at an unfair advantage ahead of other buyers out there. So when you sell, it will also be easier for you to sell because other people have to price higher to sell while you get to enter at a relatively good price. And for those of you who think OMG may not be the project that I want, and I want to know more about other contents that I create to see whether those topics could be suitable for your needs, feel free to scan this QR code for more contents that I've worked on and see if any of them can fit what you're looking for. And if there's anything you are still not clear about project selection or unit selection, or you need this table to bring down to the balloting day, let me know and I'll reach out to you, send you what you need as well, okay? See you in my next episode.